Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Sports Show. This is episode 873, alongside with one of our co-hosts, Kia Lyons, and we're joined by a really special guest. His name is Juan Rincon. He's a former baseball relief pitcher. He pitched for the Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Indians, I should say Cleveland Guardians now, since they changed the name, Detroit Tigers, Colorado Rockies. But now, after his baseball career, now he's a coach. He helps out kids and other. He does some great things in the baseball world still. And first of all, Juan, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor. And first of all, how are you and your family doing so far?
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me over. We're doing great. I'm in Florida right now, and me and my family, that we're doing just great. Thanks for asking.
Yep.
That's so wonderful. We're so glad to have you here, Juan. Tell us how your career started in baseball.
Well, I was in South America, in Venezuela, particularly. You don't play. You play little league.
Yeah.
Right.
So you get signed or you get seen by the scouts through your little league team. You don't play in college or anything like that. Once you get to college, you're done.
Right.
Yeah. So when I was about to go to college, there was a guy who reached out to me, and he said that he wanted to invite me to a tryout. At the time, I had done probably 4 tryouts, and I know no other team was interested. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just not gonna worry about it, and I'm gonna go to college. So I changed my mind, and I went to the tryout. The guy never showed up. It was on Sunday, and the guy never showed up. And I remember going home, and I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna go. This week I have to go sign up for college, because since I was an athlete, they gave me a special treatment to get in. And my mom was like, you know what? Why don't you give it a try? The guy said that he was gonna get back to you this week, and probably to see you the following Sunday. I'm like, okay, well, I'll think about it. And the guy came back. He invited me to the central part of the country, where the Twins Academy was. It was about, I don't know, 15-hour bus ride. The first time pretty much that I left my house by myself without my mom or dad. And I was there for about 2 weeks.
How old were you?
And I was 17.
Wow.
I was 17, and back in those days, there was no internet, no cell phones, no nothing. The best thing out there was just a payphone with coins, the one I use in the movies now.
Yes,
and,
that's so hard. Oh
yes,
no, I used the phones in the booth.
Yeah, the phone booth, those.
Right.
So when I got there, I remember the scout telling this other gentleman that brought me over. He said, I forget his name. He said, so and so, you're not supposed to bring guys this short. This kid's too short for what we're looking for. So, but you know what? I know that it was a long bus ride. I'm gonna let him practice for a week. Sorry. So the week went by, and I was expecting. But when he said that, I went like, I'm gonna make you swallow those words or whatever.
Yeah.
So a week went by, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna have to leave the camp, because I have to go back to my hometown to sign up for college. And the guy was like, well, how long is it gonna take you? I said, well, about 3 days. And the guy, well, I want you to get back, and blah, blah, blah. So long story short, I lasted a week at home, and he called me 5 different days, 5 different times. So I went back to the academy. The guy ended up signing. At the time, it was the only sign that they could make, because of they have a limited amount of a working visa. Every team had a limited amount of working visa to come to the U.S. And the Twins had only one visa for the international market. So I was the lucky one to get that visa. So they signed me in November. I only played for about 3 weeks there. You know, Christmas came, I went home, and my first spring training was in March of 1997. So that's how I started my professional career.
That's a lot. How did it feel to be there and to have that language barrier? You know, going through all that with not knowing, without your family and the language barrier.
It was a little difficult. You know, even though that I always try to learn a little bit of the language and the culture, it was hard. It was hard because you couldn't communicate with your coaches or your teammate, even though that I had great coaches and great teammates all along my career. But there was always that barrier that separated us from the guys that spoke English. So one day I was in the clubhouse, a little after my first spring training, and this trainer, his name is Larry Benesse. I won't forget this guy. He took me over a wall where they had all the minor leagues stats from the Minnesota levels. So it was A-ball, they were A-ball, AA and AAA, right? They were about 5 levels at the time. And he goes, okay, tell me in rookie ball how many Latinos you see here, the names. And I said, well, 20. Oh, okay. What about here in high rookie ball? 15. Okay, what about A-ball? And so on until we got AAA. And in AAA, in AA there was 2 guys, and in AAA there was no Latinos. So all guys that, So the guy goes, what do you think that there are not that many Latinos in the upper levels? And I said, I have no idea. I mean, what can I say to that? I say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, well, if you don't learn the language, how are we going to teach you?
Right.
If you don't learn the language, how are you going to learn? I'm like, makes a lot of sense. So ever since I was not, I never been afraid of even failure. And even when I messed up, I made fun of it, and people laugh, and I laugh with them. I was not afraid of trying, So I think that's why I was a little separated from the rest of the guys. In my second year, I had two American roommates, and one of them, he took the time to do homework for me. So he assigned homework. Okay, wow. How do you spell kitchen, or how are you gonna order food or something like that? So it was a tough process, but at least I can communicate with people now, and I know that there's people that at this point still can communicate with people. So
that's really awesome.
That's amazing. I have so many comments, but I want to pass to Nathan. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to ask you. Obviously, you started a career with the Twins, but take me, which other teams were interested in you, and but how grateful are you that the Twins gave you the first opportunity to start your career? And Twins, obviously, great organizations in baseball. But was there any other teams that were interested in you before the Twins?
I once got a call from Seattle. Well, when there was a team back home, the team that I played the most of my career back in Venezuela. That team, he was very interested in signing me, but for some reason the guy wanted the approval of his boss. He said, I could do it, but I want my boss to see you. And that team had an alliance with the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays came over and they saw me, and I came to a competition here in Fort Lauderdale, and I was supposed to be the starter of the team, the #1 starter. And politics took over, and I was sent to the bullpen. So the Toronto was like, why are we gonna give this guy? Why are we gonna sign him if he's that good? Why he didn't start on that crappy team that didn't win? That we didn't go anywhere. I had an amazing tournament, but I was a reliever, not as a starter, and they were expecting me to start. So the Blue Jays part failed, then Seattle came, and he said he gave me a call, but it was just that, just a call, never proposed anything. San Francisco, they called me and they said, "Listen, I need a pitcher to go to Dominican." My dad refused to go to Dominican, and he said, "Your only option is to go to Dominican. You're not gonna sign. You're gonna keep going to school, and you're gonna graduate, and that's it. But I'm not gonna let you go to Dominican."
Wow.
And then San Francisco said, "Yeah, we're gonna send you to Dominican." I was about 2 weeks away from finishing my high school degree. And my dad was like, "You know what? You're not going anywhere. I'm not gonna let you waste your high school career, potentially going to college, for 2 weeks of to be a fielder in one of organization that he had a good idea, and I didn't get it at the time, but he actually ended up paying off, and I would have done the same now with my kid. And then the Braves, they say that they have better people in their farms when they saw me pitching.
Right.
And that was it. I never did much of. I only did, I think it was 3 tryouts, and Cleveland. Braves was the second to last, and obviously Minnesota was my last one.
Wow. So
I tried out with 3 teams: Toronto, Toronto, Atlanta, and Minnesota.
Minnesota.
No, I never tried out with San Fran.
Oh, okay.
They just saw me pitching and they recommended me. That was it.
Yeah. So just to follow up on this, because once you got to the Twins, the Twins had a talented roster when you were playing with them. You played with Big Papi, you played with Kyle Loesch, Juan Santana, Grant Balfour. You go down the list, LaTroy Hawkins. What was it like playing with the Minnesota Twins and the experience of that, and the names I just mentioned that you played with?
Well, those guys, they were all of them were fantastic. It was the good thing that Minnesota had, that team was homegrown, right? The big league clubs, all of them were from the minor league. So in my let's say rookie ball, I was able to not rookie ball. Yeah, I was a rookie ball. I got to meet David, for example, when he got traded from Seattle. So I saw him in spring training. I used to see LaTroy Hawkins pitching in Venezuela. I saw Makewicz, and I played with what's the other guys? The catcher Piesinski.
Yeah, for AJ.
Played with all those guys. Yes. So we all knew each other from the minor leagues, even though that we probably never played together. When we got to the big leagues, I have seen this guy in the clubhouse. So he was not like the Yankees or Dodgers that they bring a lot of free agent players. The Minnesota, they had a totally different concept of running an organization, and they truly believe in that. And I can't complain about those guys. They were always amazing. I think that's why Minnesota was so successful in the early 2000s, because the camaraderie that we had in the clubhouse.
Yes, and we were talking before about how it was difficult when you came to this country to have that language barrier. So did the guys help you a lot with that fellowship to really help break down the cultural difference for you and the language?
Well, yes. Like I said, this guy, Larry, when he told me that, then I tried to start taking more interest in learning, even though that I knew a little bit of what I was taught in school. When I came here, I figured out that meant nothing, to be honest. I was like, ooh, now what? So
didn't they have a translator on site for you though?
No.
Oh wow.
No, we don't have. They didn't have. I mean, that's all new for this new generation of players, and it started with the when all the Japanese guys started coming over to the country. Okay. And I remember Ozzie Guillen saying, well, you're bringing all these Cuban guys, and you're giving them all this money, and you're not giving or provide them a translator to them, but you're doing it to these Japanese guys, and you're probably paying these Cuban guys more money than what you're paying these Japanese guys. So it doesn't make any sense how you go to the Japan that they probably had a better education that us in South America, especially in Cuba. And I think that kind of start opening eyes, and now you can see that there is a translator in every dugout. I play with a guy that I remember. I came in from I was pitching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the inning was over, and it was a misplay while I was pitching. So I came in the dugout, and I remember the manager and the infield coach talking to this Dominican guy, and they were asking him, "Hey, listen, why were you not, in your position, in the position that you back in? I don't remember the play." And the guy was like, "Yes, yes, but tell me why." And the guy was like, "Yes, yes, but you got to let me know why. If we practice that play today, why were you not in the position?" And the guy was like, "Yes, yes." He said 3 times yes, two questions, because he didn't know what the guys were talking about. So another guy had to intervene and say and translate to the guy. So I saw countless of times people needing help with translation, and there was nobody around to help, and how much talent it was wasted because of that lack of communication, that lack of understanding. Think about it.
That's so hard. I can't imagine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm just curious. I want to ask you: Did you ever tell these teams that you wanted to be a starter, or did you? Obviously, you're a relief pitcher, but did the instance come where you wanted to be a starter and pitch out of the rotation at one point?
I remember Baseball America when they did the top 10 prospects on the organization, that they wrote that I was gonna be the number 4 or number 5 in the rotation, and Santana was gonna be the number 4 or 5. Okay. So we were together. And the article said, "Well, good luck with this rotation," and because the future for the Minnesota Twins, if you're counting in a guy like Johan Santana, looks very bad, because the guy at the time played A-ball, and I actually beat him in strikeouts. I led the league in strikeouts, and he was second. So that's something that I can tell to my kids, that I was able to beat Johan Santana in strikeout during the season. And that the next year I got sent to Florida State, which is high A, and Santana got brought over from Houston to the big leagues in a Rule 5. He got traded to the Marlins, and the Marlins, he got picked by the Marlins, and the Marlins traded him to Minnesota. But I always wanted to be a starter. I thought I was going to be a starter. If you look at my minor league career, I always threw well above 150 innings out of the rotation. And when you say 150 innings, you got to take in consideration that it's only 140 games. That's without the games that they get suspended, that they never get to be played because of the rain or whatever. And I threw the only year that I really didn't throw that many innings, it was in my 2001 when I got called up to the big leagues, and in 2002 that I was between the big leagues and AAA. But I led the league that year in a complete game. So I always thought that my biggest chance was going to be a starter. When I played in Venezuela, I was a starter as well. Changeup was not that good, and in order to be a starter, I needed 3 bullpen. When I made it to the big leagues in 2001, you can eat up a lot of innings, and that's what they did. But I always held my faith high, thinking about that I was going to be a starter. I had teammates that they only had one pitch, and they never were relievers. They were starters. So whatever. But at least I got to play in the big leagues as a reliever. No, I'm not complaining about that now.
And you've made so many sacrifices. I'm so glad that you did get to play. Tell us how it felt when the first time that you got to play in the major league as a pitcher.
Well, it was in Minnesota. We were playing Cleveland, and they had a stacked lineup. They had Bartolo Colon was pitching. They had Vizquel. They had Matt Lawton. They had Jim Thome. They have I think they had Manny Ramirez at the time. That lineup was just insane.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't remember if I pitched the first night that I got there, but I pitched the second night. I don't remember which night I got to pitch. But after my inning was over, I only pitched one inning. I went to the video room to check on my video, to watch my video, because I thought that you could tell on TV that I was shaking so much that I felt that my pants were coming, down my waist. I keep pulling my pants up because I thought I was shaking so much that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was scared twice in my career, and that was one. And when I got to pitch in the playoff, the first time that I got to pitch in the playoff at Yankee Stadium. So.
Wow, that's interesting. That's a lot. I mean, it's like all eyes are on you. It's an intensely high pressure position. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think that I was the 131st Venezuelan that ever got to play in the big league. So,
oh wow,
we were even good players in the big leagues. We at that point, think about it, in 100 years of baseball, only 131 Venezuelans had played in the big leagues, and I got to be one of them.
That's amazing.
So it's not just a guy pitching in the big leagues; it's just a guy representing a country.
Yeah,
pitching in the big leagues. So, it's a little bit of history for the foreign guys, because we have a number of people that have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to ask you. Obviously, you spend most of your career in the AL Central, but except for Colorado, when you ended your career in Colorado. But what was it like playing for three teams in the same division? Obviously, you got the taste of the three teams in the same division. So what was that experience like, and pitching against you for four former teams when you were on the mound? What was that like for you?
Yeah, well, I got called up. I got designated for assignment with Minnesota, and then I got signed by Cleveland, and I went a little less than a month to AAA. Then when I got called up to the big leagues, I pitched against Tampa, and then my very first trip with the team was to Minnesota. So I was a little nervous. It was a little weird because I had to jog back to the other bullpen, and on my way to the bullpen from the dugout, I encountered some people that they say, hey, hello, and there were some other people that were like, well, thanks God you're gone, things like that. So
wow.
You tune them out.
Yeah, but it's all right. You get used to that. It's not, it's a part of the business. Any sport that you're gonna go to, you're gonna see fans like those. I said that talking about playing in the Central for three different teams, I should have, after I was done with Minnesota, I had a lot of offers, and I should have gone to a team outside the division. It's just to start a brand new career with no baggage. But I made the mistake to stay in the Central with two different teams after Minnesota. And at that point, I should have started fresh, and I should have gone somewhere else. But, things that you think after you're done, that doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
How does it feel, growing up? Did you have an idol when you were in Venezuela, playing in the warm air versus coming here to the United States? And for instance, comparing it to someplace like Colorado, where the air is so cool and so thin. What were those changes like for you mentally and physically?
For some reason, I'm from a real hot state. It's real hot. It's just like here in Florida, hot and humid.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was able to handle the cold weather very nice. In fact, um, I didn't never got to pitch with long sleeves. I never got to pitch with tight pants underneath my pants for to keep
Yeah.
me cold. I mean to keep me warm because I felt uncomfortable with that. So I only had my socks, my sliders, my underwear, and my dry fit, and that was it. I never really. Obviously, when I sat in the bullpen, I had a jacket and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But while I was playing, I never got to use any of that because I felt so uncomfortable with that. And I don't know why, but while I was on the mound, I was able to manage the cold weather.
Hmm.
And my hero as a child, he was the big cat Galarraga. He was one of them, and a guy named Wilson Alvarez. He's from my hometown, first Venezuelan throwing a no hitter with the White Sox, and he threw it in his second outing in the big league against Baltimore. And I remember my dad was we were having a cookout and and we were watching the TV in a black and white TV. Think about that.
Yeah.
And this guy played in my little league team, the little league team.
Wow.
He used to play in the same little league team, and same obviously same little league, same state, and all that. And he was my idol, and I joke with him because we're good friends. We actually talk like every week, and I said, Dad, because I call him Dad, just to make fun of him. I say, dude, you're my dad, man. I remember when I used to watch you play in a black and white TV, and now we're talking. I mean, life is someone.
Wow.
He's like, dude, shut up, be quiet. I feel old. But no, those two guys were my childhood heroes.
Hmm.
That's amazing to have a peer as a hero. That's very cool.
Yeah, he's a very good guy. Very good guy.
So I want to ask you. Obviously, you went to Colorado, and what was it like playing Coors Field? Obviously, like a different atmosphere, the high altitude, and some pitcher like I've seen it from experience. Like some pitchers had like struggled there, but for you, what was the adjustment like leaving from the AL Central to go to Colorado, and how long did it take you to adjust in Coors Field?
Well, Colorado is such a beautiful place, man. Yeah. It's unbelievable that right at the twilight, it's beautiful. One of the most beautiful stadiums that I have seen. And that particular division has a lot of story because of the Giants, the Dodgers are in there as well, and you got to go to Dodger Stadium a lot, and I really liked it, even though that I didn't do that good. Colorado to me was one of the most beautiful parks out there. It's still one of the most beautiful parks out there in the big leagues. And this All-Star game that they just play there just prove it. The stadium looks gorgeous. And for me, I just figure out my release point when I came down to pitching. My release point had to be a little bit farther in front of me, and I was able to be successful, especially with my breaking ball. And then when I went on the road, it was hard for me to adjust. But I think that I did better in Colorado than on the road. And Colorado, beautiful. I just can't say enough how beautiful that place is.
Mm-hmm.
It is a beautiful place. Tell us, how was it? Did you ever have any injuries? I know it's a big sacrifice to be over here and away from your family with the cultural differences. Did you have any, what was like your mentality when you had anything that you endured that was a challenge physically? Like, what was your drive?
I was a very healthy person. I can't complain. Today I'm still very healthy, thanks God. I had one time I had surgery, and I was able, they figure out that why my elbow was so sore in spring training. And I was able to play through it with that. I had bone spurs or something like that.
Wow, yeah.
In my elbow, and they say that, listen, you have the surgery, you're gonna have to spend about 2.5 in the DL. Wow. And I didn't want to do it, so I waited until the season was over. And the very next day, after the season was over, on Monday, I was having surgery. Took me a little longer to rehab because of the place where I rehab. wasn't it that good? And when I came to spring training, well, only to pitch like 2 innings because I was sore from the surgery. Um,
No.
but other than that, I never really had any issues. I was one time I went to the DL, but it was more of a move that the team wanted to do in order to bring another player from another team
Hmm.
into the team. And they say, listen, we need the spot. We don't want to lose you. If we send you to
Yeah.
the minor leagues, we're gonna have to designate you. Another team will pick you up. So we would rather to put in the DL for 15 days. If I was if I agreed to it, I'd say yes, because I didn't want to risk going back to AAA or find or not to find another. I say yeah, just put me in the DL, but it was more of a move than anything else. I never had any issues on my on my body. Thanks God.
Thank goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, so I want to ask, throughout your career, explain to us, did you have any like funny moments with your teammates or best, what was your funny moments throughout your career with your teammates?
Well, I got a lot of funny moments. They're not suitable for an interview, but this one, my first, I started in 2003 in AAA, right, in Rochester, New York. So I got called up and I flew to Minnesota on Sunday for a Sunday day game. So I got there around 10 in the morning. They took me straight to the stadium. Game was at noon, and I ended up pitching about 4 innings, right? So then I went to after the game, we flew to New York to play the Yankees on Monday. So I was on Sunday. Sunday morning, I was in New York. I flew to Minnesota, pitched 4 innings, and then I flew back to New York, right? So in that series, I didn't get to pitch at Yankee Stadium, at the old Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So the season goes on. We never got to play again at New York, and the first game in the playoff, we're gonna face the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And we started the season in New York. So I was warming up. The starter started pitching, whatever, and I was the first guy up to warm up in the bullpen.
Right.
And I say a phone rang, and I say, get Rincon up, and I started warming up. But I threw about 12 pitches, right? So the guy was able to get out of the inning, and the phone rang, and they said, well, you're gonna get somebody else up. Tell Rincon to sit down. So I go sit down, grab my jacket, sat down, blah blah blah, and the guy started warming up, right? So the bullpen coach was hilarious. He passed away, real nice guy, but he was very very funny. So he calls me over and say, hey Juan, come over here. And we started talking and said, how's your arm? Good. Well, you pitch a lot, a lot of innings out of the bullpen. How you feel? I said, I feel good. Okay. So started kind of laughing and said, where are you going with this? And I said, well, but how do you feel? I say, well, I feel good, but why are you asking me? With so, with that naive and the guy, I mean, not that naughty in your naughtiness in your talk. And the guy goes, well, if you feel that good, why are you gonna throw one single pitch over the plate? Are you scared? And I said, yes, I'm scared. What do you want me to tell you?
Wow.
Well, at least you're honest. I say, yeah. Well, remember when I said at the beginning that I was scared twice in my career? That was one, and the second one was when I started, when my first game in the big leagues. But I was real scared at that stadium. And the next day, I didn't get to pitch that day. The next day, I pitched, and I remember jogging to the mound from the bullpen in left center, and I was just admiring, looking around, people that were in that stadium and what it meant to be in that position, in that game. They playing against the Yankees, one of the most famous professional teams in any sport in the world. And I happened to be running on that grass, and I remember, Mariano Rivera ran on this grass as well. And so when I got to the mound, I remember looking up to behind the dugout, behind the home plate, but looking straight up. And there was just amazing the amount of seats that were on that field,
Yeah.
on that stadium, and how many people. I just, I still having that vision in my, like, that memory. I still having that memory in me. And I said, okay, I remember, oh, I need to settle down. Okay, settle down, warm up, and I had to bring my my adrenaline, my emotion down.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, who's up? Who's up? Well, I remember Juan Rivera. Juan Rivera is a good friend of mine. I said, well, I know Juan. I have faced him before.
Yeah.
Just pretend that I'm facing him in winter ball, when we play against each other. And it actually worked. I got the first guy out.
That's great.
Yeah. I got the first guy out, and the next guy, he got a base hit, and I think the next guy was Posada, and he ground out into a double play. So I was able to control the situation. It was like, ooh. But that's probably one of my most fun memories in the big leagues. That one.
Even the Yankees outfits are intimidating. They're sharp. They're sharp.
Yeah.
Did you ever tell him that? Did you ever tell him that you use that process?
The what? Oh, no.
Oh, you should tell him.
I should, and I have ran into him a couple of times after we stopped playing. Actually, we were teammates in Venezuela,
Okay.
but I never told him that. I never told him that particular situation. I never told him, even though we were good friends. Real quiet, but we were good friends. But I have never told him
He
that.
inspired you to get into your zone and to just be with yourself. I think that's awesome. Tell me, did your family get a chance to come and ever come to the United States and see you play?
Yeah, they did. They did a lot of times, and I don't remember if they made it for that particular playoff. I know in 2004 when we played against the Yankees again, they were with me for that playoff. I think my dad came to Minnesota in 2002 when we were playing against the Angels, and it was real cold, right?
Yeah.
And I say, Dad, remember, I'm from this real hot town. And I say, Dad, you should wear a jacket. It's 30 something degrees in Minnesota, and it was windy, and you should wear a jacket. And they, no. I don't need a jacket. I never get cold. I say, Dad, this is nothing like you have seen in your life before. You should get a jacket. Yeah. No. Let's go. We had to walk to get something to eat. And he goes, no, I'm not gonna get a jacket. I say, Dad, get a jacket, please. It's 30 degrees. We're in Minnesota. You have never seen this before. And the guy was like, no. Okay. So we walked. We got dinner. And on the way back, he's like, oh, I'm not feeling good. Well, I know you're not feeling good. So long story short, in the middle of the night, I had to walk. Now I had to get a taxi to go to one of those pharmacies to get something for the cold because he got sick and he couldn't. Yeah, because it's 30 degrees. I mean, what are you expecting? Walking out there with just a t-shirt, and a weather that you have never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not used to any of this. So yeah, that's one of the stories that I got of them when I was playing. And of course, when my son was born, they went to meet my kid since he was the first kid that we ever had. Yeah, so it was their first grandchild. So yeah, they were a bunch of times. They never went to Detroit. I don't know if they ever made it to Colorado. And they never made it to Cleveland. So Minnesota was the only place that they ever been.
Oh wow!
I'm sure it was so special when your dad got to see you play because it was, he was very careful with your development and how you came over, and so I'm sure that he was very excited to see you play, and your mom too.
Yeah, they were very excited. Yes, I brought him into the dugout at clubhouse a couple of times. And it's just for him to be in the clubhouse because I knew that it was gonna be very special for him. So I remember when he walked in and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm in a big league clubhouse." I said, "Yes, Dad, come in." And all the teammates were fine. They were good. not all of them, but a lot of them gave him a hard time. It's just to make him feel comfortable in the clubhouse. But yeah, they got to leave the whole experience.
Oh, that's awesome.
So so for like, so when you pitch in front of your family or play in front of your family, does that get like, do you get nervous sometimes, or does that give you an extra jolt?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Yeah.
No, I never got nervous. To be honest, when I was pitching, I always were able to keep my adrenaline or my nerves or whatever to be calm. I was real relaxed when I was playing. But when they were watching me, he had a little special, a little bit more special in me, and to make me do better. And yeah, so he was actually like a kick up for me.
Wow. So looking back at your career, how grateful are you to be in this position, to play the game that you loved? You worked hard every day and you got to your goal, and you had a 35-29 record, or a 4.03 ERA, over 400 strikeouts. And how grateful are you to be in this position? And now, after your career, now you're coaching. So what's it like to be a coach?
Yeah, like you I was reading an article the other day, and they said this guy said, I don't remember the name. Well, this guy is making his big league debut, and with this guy making the big league debuts, the 20,000 whatever number was, it's 20,500 whatever. So if you think about it, you know how long baseball's been around, the big league's been around, 100 years or what, or more than that, and it's only 20,500 people have been able to play this game and at the highest level, and I was one of them. Think about it. So I feel very special that I got to say that I got to play in the big leagues. So for me now, I'm trying to teach the kids, to give them a better coaching than what they're getting. It's just for them to give them that extra opportunity for them to play, at least in high school. I cannot control what happens after that, but if I help a kid and push a kid to play in high school, then after that it's pretty much up to him. But at least I gave him a tool for him to be successful at this level before they get to high school. So I feel like it's my duty to give back to the community, for the kids to get better, to get away from the bad things, and to be a shot in baseball.
I'm reading here. So your major league debut was June 7th, 2001. 2001 was a big year. That was an awesome year to come into the league. And when you were talking about 2004 for playing the Yankees, I was there in New York, so I was watching you play. So I think that's awesome. World. I lived there then. It was a big time. It was that 2001 was an awesome year to come in.
Well, you wanna know this. My son has a ex-teammate that we were talking at some point, and and he said, I took my wife at the time, his girlfriend, to New York to watch a playoff game in 2004, and he said the first series of the playoff, because of he couldn't go to the if they made it, he couldn't afford to get to the second round. And so we put the dates together, and he happens to be there when I was pitching. Think about it.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So now we're friends, and our kids they get to play together. So wow.
It's a small world. It is really small.
Hey, speaking of 2004, I'm a Yankee fan. 2004 was a horrible year for us. You know what happened against the Red Sox? We were down we were up 3-0, and then they came back to win the series. So.
And they came back. Yep. The curse got reversed.
Yeah. So for you, I just want to ask. I'm just curious. So, what are the next things for you? Obviously, you're coaching in high school, but if the right opportunity presents for yourself, would you consider being a pitching coach in the majors or minors at some point? down the line?
That's a question that even my wife, we talked about it. For if you know what, you're gonna be a bullpen coach or a big league coach in the big league, a pitching coach in the big leagues. Of course, I'm not gonna say no. But the problem to get there is that you gotta pass so many hurdles and obstacles. You gotta know so many people.
Right.
It gets to the point it gets a little bit political. So I don't know if I want to spend uh, all those years trying to pursue something that it may take 20 years to happen. I'm talking. I was hugging my son the other day, and I say, "Kid, you grew up so fast that I miss a lot of his uh, total time. When he was a toddler, I miss birthdays and I
Yeah.
miss time away from him. I miss when he started walking and when he started talking. And I don't know if I to give up my family life
Mhm.
for a minor league coaching career. And not at this point. Right now they're in a very um, key position for them in their life. My son is in 8th grade,
Oh wow.
soon to be in high school. My dad is in 6th grade. So right now they really need me around for whatever, for baseball, for softball, for life, and I want to be there for them. I don't want to miss all the good times that I got to miss because I was away. Unless, as I said, you know what, tomorrow you're going to the big leagues. I say, well, guys, make sure you turn TV tomorrow
Yeah.
so you can see me. But other than that, when I was with the Blue Jays, I loved it. I love coaching. I worked with a real good group of guys. The organization was amazing. I cannot speak enough of or how to say, like, it was so good. That organization treated me so good. But I feel that I was away from them, even though I was here in Florida. But
Yeah.
you get to the stadium at 5:30 in the morning. You leave at 6 o'clock p.m. every single day, Monday to Friday. Saturday you get there at the same time, but you end up leaving
Wow.
maybe at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So you only have half of the Saturday and a little bit of Sunday because you want to rest too.
Yeah.
It's very demanding. So I don't know if I want to do that again.
Hmm.
No, not right now. And it's not well paid either. They should get paid a little better because those guys are building organizations from with them, and they're not getting paid.
Right.
It's a shame. It's a shame because a lot of people, and the baseball has changed so much that they don't need a guy like me around because they want more guys that went to school and they do a lot of graphics and this and that. I'm more of teaching. I would like to teach how to
Right.
the proper mechanics, how to throw the ball, certain situation, how you approach this situation with these batters, how you pitch to these guys. That's what I'm into. No, not with a computer.
And I think what we were talking about earlier would be awesome for you, how you seem to be so passionate about bridging that cultural challenges to be a mentor and go in as a consultant somewhere in Florida would be wonderful for you. I definitely want Nathan, we have to link him with Kyle Kendrick, who's in Florida, and I think it would be a beautiful thing if you could do it on your terms and your timeline and weave it into your schedule, but to give back to the youth and to these guys who are coming over to help them with, you're so healthy with their strength and conditioning, and then the cultural difference and language barriers.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier, you come here, you don't know anything. You don't know how to order food. You don't know how to even get a new key for your room. Think about that. It's just common sense, common things. You don't know how to do it. I remember a guy
interview in front of a whole bunch of people.
On interview, yes. I had a teammate that this is in AA, and every time that we went to eat after the game or whatever, or even for lunch, he said, "Let's go to Denny's." to the road to that restaurant that's open
Yeah.
24/7. Let's go to Denny's. And we're like, why do you want to go to Denny's every single day? And he never say a word why he
Yeah.
wanted to go to Denny's every single day. So it happens to be that he wanted to go to Denny's because Denny's had pictures in their menus
Right.
for him to order, because he didn't know what he was, order. He just wanted to say, give me steak and egg, over easy or whatever. I remember that he used to order steak and egg. But he didn't want to go to, Burger King or whatever, because he didn't know how to order. So you invest so much money on these Latinos. Yes, they need to learn how to speak English, but until then, you got to help them.
Yes.
Otherwise, the investment that you're making on these kids is gonna take longer to
I
pay
agree.
back. Because they're gonna be shy. They're not gonna probably get the proper technique.
Mhm.
And so it's gonna hold him back a little longer. So instead of getting your product to start paying dividends in 3 years, it will take probably 5 years.
Yeah.
When he starts figuring things out. So I think that it could be a good idea to have somebody out there that is just goes, through the minor leagues, not just for one single team. You go through the minors, and then go talk to Kyle, go talk to Juan, see how they feel, make sure that they're well taken care of. I don't know. It's just an idea of a guy that is, so far away from the big leagues.
I think it's a great idea. I think that it's necessary to nurture, get a return on your investment by nurturing your players.
Yeah, I presented that idea to a former GM, and he didn't see the need. But
now it's different. There's a lot going on in sports now.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about this guy Sano, and I'm talking about Sano because I kind of know the situation. He came over here, and they gave him $3 million or something like that. I don't remember. And for Minnesota, it's a big chunk of money. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I was in the Blue Jays organization when he came in, and he happens to play under my watch for the first 3 months of his career. Same thing. To the day, he doesn't speak good English. So you're investing so much money on these kids that why don't you give him? You're giving him training. The best training that you could give him. Right. You're giving him how do you call that, equipment. You're giving him food, the best food that you could give him, nutrition. Why don't you give him probably the tool that is as important as a strength conditioning trainer, which is a guy that can help him and say, you know what, because this game is it's mental. It's more mental than anything else.
It's TLC.
Yes. So when I start, the things start to get to my head, my career was done because I didn't have a person to talk to.
Yeah.
Think about it. And I'm the first one to say and to admit it. Yeah. And why don't you do that to a guy in the minor leagues, so to propel his career, so his career can go a little faster.
Exactly. It's team building. It's team building, like from one-on-one. And then in order to get the victories, everybody's got to come together. To come together, first we got to make them feel comfortable here, just being here.
Yeah. Yeah. And even to talk, listen, hey, what's going on? Well, I have this issue. I got this girl pregnant, or you hear that every day, to be honest. Yes. And, to get things out of their mind a little bit. It's just to talk. And believe me, it should go a long ways.
Brother, and if one GM doesn't believe in it, if you believe in it, I believe in it. I think that whatever we believe in, and we just keep pursuing it to whatever level we can, then it just comes at a greater level, and it'll get there. But I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So a couple more things here before we let you go. This is a two-part question. And what are your thoughts on today's game and the rules change? Obviously, extra innings, bottom top 10, you start with the man on second, and double header, 7 innings now. What do you like about the change? Do you think they're heading into the right direction with that? And the next part is, also, what are your thoughts on when they check the pitcher's hat and the pants for the pine tar situation? What are your thoughts on that? And also, I want to ask you about Thursday's big day in baseball on Thursday, Field of Dreams. Yankees, White Sox are going to play on the Field of Dreams thing. So what are your thoughts on that also?
I think baseball is heading the wrong direction, to be honest. I think at some point baseball is going to come back to be the baseball that I used to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, teaching about launch angle and spin rates and all that. They tell you all that, but they don't tell you how to fix when you're in a slump. Why do you think you're seeing more strikeouts nowadays than before? It's just because, yeah, the pitchers are throwing harder. Yes, I give you that, but the pitchers they know what you're doing. They're swinging uppercut, and the bat has to be in the exact place at the in the sweet spot of the ball for you to hit it. So when the pitcher starts to figure out that the Blue Jays are teaching to pitch to throw the ball up in the zone. Back in my days, it was throw the ball down in the zone.
Yeah.
Now it's throw the ball up in the zone because they can now catch up to that ball because of the uppercut swing that they're having. They're having a lot of swing and misses. The spin rate. Yeah, you're gonna have spin. It's just a spin rate. Spin rate. It's always been there. It's just somebody put a name on it, and a machine is telling you that. I don't know how many RPMs. I don't even know the name. I think that if you go back to what he have got baseball to be 120 years old or whatever number is,
yeah,
you're gonna have more people looking into the game, watching the game. You're putting the pitcher in a very tough position because they end up losing the game. The reliever, when it's tie game, you come in the game. Let's say you're having a real good game, and you're a lone reliever, and you came in the seventh inning. Then in the seventh inning, you go to the 10th inning, and you have 3 good innings. But since you're a lone reliever, you got to keep pitching. So in the 10th inning, they put that man on second base. They bunt the ball. They move the runner over. You get a ground ball to the shortstop. Shortstop bobbles the ball, throws to first base, gets the guy out. It's not an error. The guy ends up scoring. You get the next guy a strikeout. You go home with a loss. Think about it. And you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So you're putting the pitchers in a very, very tough position. Those lefties or the pitchers that they have to face 3 batters in an inning or minimum, you're eliminating the mental part of the manager, because the managers they're real good. The managers in the American League are so different than the managers in the National League because of the DH, not the DH, the pinch hitter.
Yeah.
How many pinch hitters they have? You have people that they were just career pinch hitters, like Matt Stairs, for example. A guy like him nowadays, he wouldn't have a job. You see what I'm saying? So I think that it's just wrong what they're doing. To be honest, 7-inning doubleheader.
Yeah.
I don't see it. You got guys throwing 7 innings no hitters and doesn't count as a no hitter, but it's an official game.
Yeah.
It's one of the two. It's too many gray areas in the baseball nowadays that I would rather to see the baseball that it was played 10 years ago. What was the question that you asked me?
Oh, the Thursday Yankees White Sox are playing on the Field of Dreams Stadium, or the original movie.
Yeah, I know. I actually in 1999 I went to Clinton, Iowa for the Midwest League All-Star game, and one of the things to do is drive to Field of the Dream, and that thing is in the middle of the nowhere.
Oh wow.
Obviously, I haven't seen that thing since 1999. It's been 23 years, 22 years since I saw it last. So I'm pretty sure that it has changed. But to me, I think that for the players and knowing what they're gonna have to go through, as a baseball player, I would rather them to be at home at their places to play this game, because They're gonna have to go get. They're gonna have to fly over. They're gonna have to ride a bus, get to this place, play a game, fly over again to whatever they're going to. So and the schedule doesn't get any easier. Remember, these guys are playing 162 games.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're playing three like in basketball. You're playing 3 games a week or one game a week. These guys are playing every single day. So yeah, it's good for the fans, but for the players' perspective, it's not too fun, to be honest. It's not, and I'm pretty sure that they are not too happy about that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 questions as well. We know that you have this great passion for baseball because you've been playing it since you were a kid. So tell us, how does it feel when you throw the ball that fast to you? And then also, what advice do you give to the youth who are starting young, who want to play professional baseball?
Well, now that I usually I go and teach pitching, I sit on the mound and I say, wow, how come did I throw that hard? I don't, now I'm not even close to that. And there's a lot of teams, that Sunday teams, that they wanted me to go and preach for them. I say, buddy, I don't have it on me anymore. I don't want to do it. I don't feel that my arm is gonna be there and I could get hurt because it's been so long that I pitched last. And if I get hurt right now, it's not gonna be fun. 42. So I cannot avoid that. But I said to myself, wow, how can I do so hard? But for the kids the kids out there, not just the kids. I think the dads, they had to be educated more than the kids, because the dads are letting this to happen. My son, about 2 months ago, he played in this tournament, the weekend tournament, right?
Right.
And this kid from the other team was throwing a real good game. The game was tied 4-4, 3-3 in the 5th inning. In the 5th inning, this 13-year-old kid had 115 pitches. Think about that. 115 pitches.
Wow.
Every other outing that you got at the age of 13, when you get to high school, you're not gonna have an arm. These kids are growing. Yeah, they're growing. They're kids. Their tendons are growing, the ligaments, the muscles, the bones, and all that. And when you do a pitch, it's actually unnatural for your arm to do that. So you put in that much of stress in a kid's arm, and they go out there and they throw in a weekend. I have seen kids thrown in 4 days, 4 days tournaments, 200, 250 pitches. Wow. And the dads are fine with that. He goes out there and he pitches on Thursday 100 pitches. Then he relieves on Saturday 50 pitches, and then on Sunday he starts the game and he throws another 70 to 100 pitches. How do you allow, for Christ's sake, your kid to do that? For what? What's the purpose of it? You think it's gonna make your kid better? I don't see it. I don't get it. They don't look at the long-term picture. They don't look at their future, if they can have a future in school. They're more worried about winning this $7 ring or $7 trophy that they're gonna give you at the end of the tournament.
Yeah.
But they don't care about the kids' health, and it just blows my mind. I just can't believe it. So I think the dads, they should be a little bit more willing to say, no, my kid had enough. He's not gonna pitch. You already wasted him for 100 pitches. He's done for the weekend. But no, the dad, sometimes the dads, and when I say dads, mom and dad, their ego is so big that they, my kid dominated 3 out of 4. He pitched 3 out of 4 games. I'm like, what are you doing? When I was 13, I remember getting hurt. I remember that I threw a pitch, and I hear my bone when you snap a chicken bone, that you break it. It sounds the same. It sounded the same. I remember that. Wow. I don't remember who was the manager. I don't remember who was the team. I remember that it took me 9 months to get back to playing baseball and 11 months to pitch again.
Wow.
I remember that. I remember getting hurt. I don't remember who I was facing. I don't remember what day of the week. I don't remember if we won, if we lost. I don't remember any of that, but I do remember that I got hurt. So why are
Yeah.
you gonna put your kid in that situation where he could get hurt? And I was lucky to get back, and the doctor said that I was actually lucky because when it happened, my dad put ice on my elbow, and I iced my elbow for the rest of the weekend until Monday that I went back to the doctor. I don't remember it was Friday. I don't remember it was Sunday. I remember it was at night.
Right.
But that's the only thing that I remember. So why? Because you're gonna have 10 trophies, and for what? You're risking your kid's health. I don't get it. But what would I recommend to those kids that stay away from the drugs,
Yeah.
try to hit the gym, because of there was a misconception that back in my days, if you start lifting weights, you were gonna you were not gonna grow. Now, if you're gonna do stupid things in the gym, you're gonna get hurt. But nowadays, there's a lot of information out there to actually get the kids a little stronger, a little healthier. Watch what you eat, what you take. Sodas, fast food, all that kind of stuff. They got to be careful with that. If they really want to go the extra mile, if they really want to play high school, if they really want to play in big leagues, they need to start taking care of their bodies right now. And somebody, I know it's a long road, but somebody has to play in the big leagues. Somebody, I don't know who will, but somebody will. So it could be you, but it starts right now that you're a teen,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
your youth.
Yeah, you're such a great advocate for health, and you're doing a great job. So I think that's a great conversation to just keep presenting to the parents about having the personal balance for the kids, because they are kids. So we appreciate
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know that when I was with the Blue Jays, there was this kid. I had my kids were from anywhere from 17 to 20 years old, right?
Okay.
And this kid was a little older. He was 20, almost 21 years old, and he was pitching. He was throwing no hitter, right? 5 innings. So the maximum that the kids were allowed to pitch was 5 innings a week if he was a starter.
Yeah.
So 5 innings or 60 pitches, whatever came first. If 60 pitches, or let's say 58 pitches, and he was going to be able to face an extra batter. That's it.
Yeah.
But 5 innings, 60 pitches, you got to take the kid out.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the minor league pitching coordinator in the dugout. He came down to watch the game.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, dude, this guy's throwing a no hitter. I think had like 40 pitches. He had something like real stupid. Can we let him go an extra inning? And will you be fine if he goes out there and he throws an extra inning? It's a little older, and it was gonna be his last game in that level, because he was gonna move up after the game was over. So the guy was like, yeah, go ahead, just use him 1 inning, but keep an eye on the counter, just in case he goes extra. Get somebody ready to warm up, and if something happens, you take him out. Okay.
Wow.
The guy was like 1, 2, 3, came more inning over. We took him out. He threw 6 innings under 55. I think it was 54 pitches, right? 2 days later, I got a phone call from the minor league coordinator. So he started talking, and the phone call was to ask me, why did I let that kid go an extra inning when the maximum amount of inning that he could pitch was 5. So I told him, well, I have my boss sitting in the dugout telling me that it was fine.
Wow.
And I know that you're his boss, but he was my direct boss. He was my first boss, and I didn't think that I had to make an extra call to clear it with you, since I was going to. Long story short, I got reprimanded because of that. It's just, and think about it. Those the relievers were not allowed to throw more than 3 innings a week.
Wow.
5 innings for the starters, and if somebody throws 3 innings, you gotta give him 3 days off from pitching.
Yeah.
And these guys are grow up men. If you think about
Yeah.
17 to 21, and you have kids around here that they're throwing, in 2 months, 100 innings for their schools or their whatever their summer team. I know that it's 100 innings a lot, but it just blows my mind. I think we could have more talent out there if it wouldn't be because of these kids are wasting their arms and their time at such a young age pursuing $3 trophy, $3 ring
Yes.
that nobody's
And
gonna remember.
I think that it's valuable that you can see that in the body. And sometimes as parents or as spectators, I remember I was watching a game and we had a pitcher. I can't remember who was pitching, but he was doing so great. And they were taking him out. And I said, Dad, I can't believe they're taking him out. And he said, Kia, he needs to rest. He needs to rest. But sometimes we just get so caught up in the greatness that we just want to keep going and keep seeing it. And it's good to have professionals that say, here's the boundary. And then like yourself, who can say, here's the body, this is what it's doing, right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, when I told you earlier that I wanted to give back to the community, it's not just about teaching them how to throw a certain pitch or mechanics. So it's just everything, trying to protect the kid to be as healthy as he can be, to go and perform in high school and potentially be seen by a school in college or a professional team, but starts when you're real young, that you let your kid be a kid and protect him,
Yeah, I'm sending this to a lot of people that have the kids playing, definitely.
Yeah, believe me, it just blows my mind how stupid they are, and the parents, they let the coaches do it, and they should have said, you know what, this is the line. You already gave him. You don't like it? Okay, well, we go find somebody else. I want to protect my kid. It's just about protecting your kid.
Yes, and then protecting your body and the kids knowing to protect themselves too, to know their body's limits, because that's what you've done a great job of staying healthy. So if they can learn it early, then that's a great thing.
It is. So hopefully we change our mindsets when it comes down to competition. But I know that you talk to people and they're like, dude, get out of here. I don't want to hear it.
One step at a time. We'll get there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, in this generation, like for aces like Garrett Cole or Jacob deGrom or Max Scherzer, it's tough for these pitching coaches to take them out, or managers to take them out now, because they want to stay in the game, like these aces. So, but that's like a concern though, like for whenever they get an injury. So, but it's in this generation, it's tough to take out your ace pitchers now.
No, listen. Even when I used to play Santana, he was going to be taken out, and Santana was like, "You're not taking me out. This is my game. I created this mess, and I'm gonna walk out of here. With gonna be fine." Whatever he said.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna happen. But remember, I'm talking about 13, 12, 15-year-old. These guys are 20-something years old, 30 years old, and they have a private chef. They have a private strength and conditioning guy. They play catch every day. They lift every other day. They leave. This is their life. This is not a kid that goes to school the next day and has a sandwich with chocolate milk for breakfast. These guys are, they make a living out there. That's because of a reason. Say that again.
They have serious fuel. They feel all their senses, whereas a 13-year-old kid doesn't even understand if he has like a torn anything. He's like, oh, I'm just a little sore.
Yeah, a little sore, and they prepare themselves, in the off season, and they work their body off every single day in the off season. It's not just a guy that he happens to be. And remember, DeGrom was a shortstop in high school. And they told him, listen, you're wasting your time. You're going to be a pitcher. But going to that story, I don't know if you guys remember Strasburg, when Strasburg got hurt and they shut him. No, he didn't get hurt. He reached the amount of innings that he was gonna be able to throw in one season as a big leaguer. I think it was like 120 pitches. And Rizzo, the GM, he got fired because how are you gonna protect a guy like that? And this guy's in the big leagues. And the guy goes, well, you got to look in the ultimate, the biggest, the big picture, and it's going to the World Series. We're not going to the World Series right now, but we want to save him for a season where we could have a World Series run. And guess what happened? The guy was the big guy. I was the guy the go-to guy in the World Series World Series season. And I think he was the MVP in the World Series. So think about that. Now the guy is hurt again. So it actually paid off what this guy Rizzo did to this kid at the time, but he was in the big leagues, and he said, you got 120 pitches, 150 innings in your big league season, and we should gonna shut you down. And people were like, this guy's nuts. And guess what? He paid off. He paid off because the guy was not hurt.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit of food for the table right there.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
The last two things here before we let you go. Our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. So I'll send you the foundations to you and your wife so you can go check it out.
Sounds good. Anything.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing here,
help, especially for that kind of cost.
Yeah, thank you. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
Well, yes. Thanks for the hard work. We wouldn't have done it, or we wouldn't be here without their care and their
selflessness.
Not selfish, unselfish.
Mm-hmm.
I meant
going out there.
selflessness.
Yes, that one. Too big for me right now. And a lot of people have put their health on the line to get people safe and healthy. So we gotta recognize all those people.
Yeah. Well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 873 with former MLB relief pitcher Juan Rincon. Now he coaches kids. Juan, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor. This was awesome. We learned a lot from this, and keep up the great work as a coach, and you and your family stay safe. We would like to have you back as a returning guest so you can meet the full team at some point, but like I said, keep it up, and thank you again.
No, anytime that you guys want me back, I'll be happy to sit down and chat with you guys. Thanks for having me over. It was very nice to meeting you guys, and it was a very fun conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
And
you, Juan.
we'll get you connected with Kyle Kendrick too. So
yes.
Okay, yeah, that'll be good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
Have
guys.
a great one.
Thank you very